Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 13 to 11. 1311. I am Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located last place on earth, Podcastro Valley, Café Anyway. Hi. Today, Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster. Plus, we get to a segment called the Mike Tip. It's the Mike Tip. And it's some tips that are fascinating going on today.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I also had the opportunity to walk with another great lady.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yesterday, her name is Katie, and we do that segment called the something, and I can't remember it. To me, it must be because my brain's not awake yet. It's really early. You're probably sleeping at the moment that this is being recorded, but that's okay. I'll think of it in a moment.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh yeah, holding court with Lady Katie. She and I were discussing Beauty and the Beast. She said, I'm not going to go see it.
Mike's
because of all the
Daily
CGI.
Podcast.
CGI now.
Yeah!
To some people's eyes, I guess not the majority because the movie is still number one, but to a lot of people's eyes, people are tired of CGI. We've seen it over and over again. We get it. You can make things look fantastic, but it looks so fake. But it's the Beauty and the Beast Borg. You know what's going to happen now. Now that you've created this thing. Oh, look who just walked in. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing?
That's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
What's a Borg?
Okay, like, there's this thing in Star Trek where they had...
Why are you talking so slow?
brain not awake, as mentioned before.
Okay, then. That's fine.
Look who else just walked in.
That's terrible.
All right. No, it's not terrible. Look who it is.
Hi, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the Brewmaster. Oh,
I would love some root beer.
all right. Mike doesn't make any sense.
I know. He's supposed to be pouring some root beer. All right. And did I put that over here? Oh. I had the theme to Star Trek somewhere. Well, you can hum it in your brains. The brains that you have. That there is this, the Borg is this alien.
And here's today's podcast picture.
All right, the picture. Everybody knows what the Borg is. The picture is of the wonderful Shelley Shuhart, who also just happened to walk in just at this moment. Hello, Mike Matthews. Like, the show is like so awesome today. Thank you, Shelley. Don't mention it. How's Bob? I love Bob. Oh boy, that's great.
Oh boy, is this great!
Oh, boy.
Mike Matthews? Don't ask. And I will not tell. Yes, so what I was saying was, now that they're... Thank you, here we go. Now that we've got the Beauty and the Beast that got so popular, so many people are going to follow the Beauty and the Beast and take old, wonderful cartoons and make them live action. And the thing is here we go. All right. The thing is, it's that's what I don't like about movies. I don't know. There's nothing original anymore. I know. The originality is on YouTube. So many original things you can check out on the YouTube. But people can make videos way too fast these days. Like, you can take something somebody did on TV yesterday and make a video and say, look what so-and-so said. They did that with the James Comey thing when he was doing his hearing last week. They'd break down a little piece of what he said and go, look what he said, and then rewind it and then do like a zoom in. And people are just so good with the YouTube, they can throw stuff up right away. unlike this show, which takes days to do, each show I labor for months on end, and then finally come up with this wonderful show that you're listening to. I just now, actually, I'm just doing this on the fly, as you can tell. I was having a difficult time finding the Star Trek thing. I will tell you, though, that Haley told me, and there's a lot of telling and tolding and all that going on, that Flux, F-Flux, Haley's been using for a long time and says it works. I was talking about that, I think, on the Tuesday show, and that how Apple, like the Borg, has absorbed that and is now putting that into its iOS, so that you can, it basically, the light, the way Haley described it to me, and Haley described it very well, just my brain doesn't absorb things. I'm not very Borg-like. And, you know, Borg is the other white meat. Haley was telling me that as the night progresses, as he's looking at his computer, the light is causing him to now fall asleep. Whereas the computer would keep him up all night, now, because of the light, this is what Flux does. It fluxes. It fluctuates the light. And lux, of course, is a measurement of light. And it all comes back around. It's wonderful, as I've told you. And you were telling me, tale as old as time, true as it can be. One other thing I wanted to make an observation, is what I wanted to make, is that 10 Things I Hate About You has not aged well. Watch that movie that came out in the late 90s with a young, wonderful Heath Ledger. And you will go, and Julia Stiles is in it. And the Joseph Gordon-Levitt guy is also in it, very young, in this movie. Of course, everyone's very young. It was like 20 years ago. Probably they're having an anniversary for it this year. Someone that I actually had the chance to meet, Larry Miller, plays the father of the two daughters it was basically based on Taming of the Shrew, and it's mentioned in that movie as well. Larry Miller, who's the father of the two daughters, I met him in an airport in Los Angeles. I'm waiting in the and thank you, my Bay Area, and I went all censored. I meant hella long line to get on my plane to fly back to Alabama. This was in 2009. And there's Larry Miller walking down the expressway. He's got the VIP line, and he's going the other direction because I think he just came off the plane. And I'm the only one that sees him. And I go, hey, he sees that I see him, and he sticks out his hand, and we shake hands. And I said, hi, Larry Miller. And he goes, hey, come see me at some show that he was going to be doing. And I think, in fact, I told him I loved him in 10 Things I Hate About You. So that was kind of his peak. But he still does stand up. And like I said, a very nice guy. So the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, which is supposed to be this really progressive school in Seattle, and they're so progressive. Oh my gosh, the career consultant lady, the one that's trying to get you on the right path at the school. What do they call that person? Your future woman? No, that's not right. Your college. It's been a long time since high school. That lady that you go and see to get you, what college should I go to? Gives you all your options and whatnot, or sets you straight in your life if you're going the wrong direction. Anywho, and this actress, I forget her name, but she was on The West Wing, got really popular on The West Wing. She, in the movie, is not only consulting the students, but is also writing on her laptop, which is, of course, prehistoric, this laptop that you see in the movie. It's ancient. And she is writing very spicy, hot love novels. And that's like the big thing in this movie is, ooh, wow. She's not only helping out. So if you go see an Easy A, which is now it basically, Easy A was trying to pick up from what this movie was doing ages ago, which that movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, was kind of trying to perpetuate, move on what Clueless was doing, which Clueless was based on the Jane Austen novel. So that's Pride and Prejudice. Hey, I just wanted to tell you, though, if you watch 10 Things I Hate About You, you'll laugh, because you'll go, ah ha ha, this is supposed to be a progressive school, and then you go, oh my gosh, this school today would be very non-progressive. Let's get to the segment, The Mic Tip.
Yo, the mic tip.
Yeah.
I just love trying to come up with things off the top of my head. Oh, wait, no, I've worked on this for weeks. That's right. Help out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. That's all I'm saying. Go to the website and click on the Amazon. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy. That link, that helps us out. There's also the PayPal. Donate through that. You'll get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters thanking you. I'm getting all the way through the A's just about. I'm down to Alyssa Morrissey now. So I'm redoing that. The interviews page is what I'm talking about. The lovely Alyssa Morrissey from Ontario, Canada, country music singer. You can hear that interview and others at mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there now. Okay, the mic tip. I am not a fan of the Mindy Project. Why? Nah, no reason. I just need to start watching it. A lot of people love it that I know. They're like, Mike, watch the Mindy Project. Well, Mindy is hanging up her scrubs in the wake of the conjugal cliffhanger betrayed by the final moments of Tuesday's 5th season finale. Entertainment Weekly can exclusively reveal some big news about Mindy and her treasured little bauble of a rom-com, The Mindy Project, will return this September on Hulu for its 6th and final season. You can watch it on Hulu. It's been almost 5 years since the series first premiered on Fox. And the show, which hit episode 100 last November, remains the only surviving sitcom from that fall. Yes, that's right. That fall, a lot of sitcoms fell. After season 3, the series hung in limbo following Fox's decision to cancel it until Hulu came to its rescue in a high-profile pickup, allowing zeitgeist-obsessed Dr. Mindy to continue her pursuit of romance, fast food, and celebrity rendezvous in New York City for, as it turns out, 3 more seasons. And the Hulu's head of content, Craig Erwick, was instrumental in bringing the show to the streaming service after its cancellation, which I don't get the whole Hulu thing now. I was one of the first adopters of Hulu. Loved Hulu. But then they started charging for it, and then they were charging for it, but you still had to watch commercials. Now, on to another lovely lady, Nicki Minaj. She is now a model. She signed with Wilhelmina Models. You can tell I've signed to them as well, because I can say their name perfectly. The agency announced yesterday Minaj will join Wilhelmina's celebrity division. A star-studded roster that includes the very lovely Sydney Sirota of the wonderful group, which you don't hear much from anymore, Echo Smith. They had that one hit, I've gone with the cool kids, it's the cool kids, da 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 da. I like their sound. So she is a model for them. Also Nick Jonas, Demi Lovato, and Shawn Mendes. I know I can treat you better than he can. The lovely, young, lovely people. So Minaj said the following: I love the synergy between my music and how it inspires my fashion. My message is always about celebrating your own style. I'm thrilled and honored to have signed with Wilhelmina. They get me. Now on to nuclear power and Toshiba. They projected its annual loss could be more than double to a record 1.01 trillion yen. That equates to $9.1 billion if you didn't know. As its U.S. nuclear unit, Westinghouse Electric, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The collapse of Westinghouse, once the linchpin of Toshiba's plans to diversify away from consumer electronics. Because who has a Toshiba computer anymore? I do, and it barely works. Caps a disastrous run for the Japanese conglomerate as project delays crippled earnings from the nuclear plant business. Then there is the lawmakers in North Carolina. They could repeal House Bill 2 today under a deal struck last night by Democratic Governor Roy Cooter and Republican, yes, his name's Roy Cooper, rather, but I want him to be from the Dukes of Hazzard and be called Cooter, and Republican legislative leaders. Senate Leader Phil Berger announced the deal shortly after 10 p.m. The announcement capped a day of intensified negotiations and sometimes contentious meetings, of course, with both sides. Then I wanted to mention that Facebook is going to reveal its F8 conference, at its F8 conference, a new class of group bots. They're all into the group bots now that work inside Messenger group bots. These group bots can keep users informed about real-time news such as sports, games, progress, e-commerce deliveries, and more, according to 3 sources familiar. Facebook is also already working with top chatbot makers to prepare for the launch. It's all going to be about chatbots. It'll open up APIs to allow more developers to start building group bots too. When asked for comment, a Facebook spokesperson said, "We don't comment on rumors or speculation," because they are jerks. South Korea's Hyundai Motor Company. This is the last story, by the way. It's fascinating. Melania Trump has a secret sister you never hear about. Oh, wow. Hey, Melania Trump, what's the deal with her body language? She's just not seeing... She looks like she doesn't want to be next to Trump, next to anyone. It looks like she doesn't want to be anywhere. Maybe she just wants to be sitting on a couch somewhere. And I understand. South Korea's Hyundai Motor Company is developing its first dedicated architecture for electric vehicles. Yes, soon you will have a Hyundai, electric Hyundai. They're seeking to catch up with Tesla. While the platform will not be completed soon, Hyundai Motor and affiliate Kia Motors, yes, they're affiliated, and that totally makes sense, doesn't it? Plan to roll out small electric sport utility vehicles based on an existing underpinning next year. The separate platform represents a major push into the battery electric car segment for a firm which has long trumpeted rival fuel cell vehicles, reflecting strong investor pressure to compete more vigorously in a market. Like, with Tesla and whatnot. And as we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I'm liking the whole electric car thing. And that's because at one point there was a sad car movie called The Death of the Electric Car. And I remember Ed Begley Jr., who I once posted a podcast picture of because I met him in a thing in Ventura. And that's where he goes. I go, "Hi, Ed Begley Jr. Nice to meet you." He goes, "Oh, that's great. Hey, why don't you talk to my daughter?" And then he walked away. And I ended up talking to his very nice daughter for quite a while. But yes, the electric car is having a resurgence, and it's great. We are outside. It's beautiful, and it's so eco-friendly out here because it is the environment. And it's ecology. And it's the end of the show. Thank you for listening. Next show, it's Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!